Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Wrestling Classic Justin back for the TWC Show. And before we get into the rest of the show, there's a couple of things I got to take care of. Starting off with shout out to everyone that has signed up to the Patreon, guys. If you are part of the Patreon, you get to watch this show in video form. You get my interviews early. You got the Daniel Monet interview early. We did an interview with Jimmy Jacobs. You guys are going to get to see that before I drop that anywhere else. You might even get some extra bonus interviews. You guys never know what you're gonna get, but I just want to give shout out to our most recent signing Patreons: Ken Poe, Steven Spice, shout out Steven's Wrestling Journey, Steven Hanrahan, did not mean to mess up your name, but shout out to Steven Hanrahan, and Bobby Graywall. Thank you for signing for the Patreon. Guys, start engaging on them more, start talking to us a bit more, and I want to keep the Patreon bumping. The more of you that subscribe to the Patreon, it starts as low as $2, guys. www.patreon.com/The Wrestling Classic. The more of you that sign up, the more things we can do for you guys and extra content we're going to create. I'm going to link up with Robbie soon. We're going to do another action figure giveaway. We're going to start recording some extra content, whether it's me giving my honest opinions on some figures and stuff that are coming out. So keep a lookout for that. Secondly, thank you to everybody that checked out the casual conversation with Daniel Monet. I really appreciate it. Got tons of great feedback. Shout out to all the websites, Wrestling Inc., Fightful, Diva Dirt, everybody that has been sharing snippets and quotes and stuff that Daniel said in that interview. If you guys haven't checked out, it's on my YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the TWC Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and all of those places where you can listen to this show, then you're already getting that show. It's a part of this stream. So check it out if you guys haven't. This is one of the first interviews that Danielle, aka Summer Rae, has done with someone in the wrestling bubble, where she really got to tell her wrestling story, why she stopped wrestling, her experience in the WWE and stuff. It's the first one she's gone in this much detail about. We also talk about all the other stuff she's doing. She's a marketing executive for a cryptocurrency company. She's working in movies, pilots, all this stuff. It's a great interview, guys, so go check it out. And I really wanted to thank everyone that has checked out because it's gotten a great response. One last thing before we get into the predictions for WrestleMania Backlash, and I introduce my two co-hosts this week. If you're watching this, you can already see them sitting here bored out of their mind waiting for me to finish this. But if you're listening, I'll introduce them in a second. You guys already know who they are. But the last thing I wanted to say was I just kind of realized we're on episode 93 of the TWC Show. 93 episodes. This is the 93rd episode. I didn't think we were going to make it that far. We started out in the studio when Sonu was our director, and it was me and Devin just shooting the shit about professional wrestling. We got kicked out of the studio, ended up on Dash Radio, did a whole bunch of shows while we were on Dash Radio, had so many revolving doors of co-hosts that when Devin got a bit busier, whether it was Daniel Ali from the Dropkick Podcast, whether it was SockMonkeyMike, whether it was Vikram Prasher from Wrestling with Awareness, whether it was Neeson from THS Wrestling, whether it was Cody Decker, whether it was Danny Lopre. We've had so many cool guest hosts. Britt Waters last week. I almost said Britt Baker. Britt Waters last week. We had her on the show. AJ, my cousin Jaden. We've had so many cool co-hosts on this show, and I hope to continue to have really cool co-hosts. But for Ankit, we can't forget about Ankit. He was there for the worst Wrestle Kingdom review ever, which you can watch on YouTube, which is a really good episode if you guys haven't seen it, and it's still relevant today. My point is I'm gonna try to make sure that Devin returns for episode 100. We're going to try to make sure that happens. So 93, we got a few weeks to go, actually, not a couple. And when we get to episode 100, I'm going to make sure that Devin is on it. Now that I've plugged the Patreon, plugged the Danielle Monet interview, plugged the fact that the TWC Show is almost at episode 100, now that I'm almost like losing my voice and getting sick of hearing my own voice, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my co-host for this week, returning for the first time in, I want to say, well, Daniel was here like 2 weeks ago. SockMonkeyMike hasn't been here for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, we got SockMonkeyMike, who now might want to be called Mike Wexler of the formerly known as SockMonkeyMike Show, which is now known as the Your Story podcast. What's up, SockMonkeyMike?
Well, Justin, it's a pleasure to be here, but if you're going to say my name, you're going to say it right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the promo artist, also the broadcaster, also the icon, and also the bachelor in SockMonkeyMike, a.k.a. Now, actually, you know what? Scratch that. It's not SockMonkeyMike anymore. It is Mike Wexler. Yes, it is the man with the plan, the myth that will get with the riff. I don't know what I was doing for that last one. But aside from that, thank you, Justin, for having me on. I know I've been a little bit busy. It's just been crazy the past few weeks, and I do apologize on the little bit of the absence, but it's a pleasure to get a conversation with you and Daniel, of course, and I can't wait to get started with wrestling.
Daniel, can you follow up on that intro?
You know what? I'll say this. Mike, you have better wrestling opinions than Justin's last few co-hosts, and I'll fucking say that. It's an honest opinion because I don't lie. I'm a man of my word. Easy.
Are you calling out Neeson and Britt Waters?
I just, when you talk about, matches in the last 10 years, especially for the men, it's like the women are killing it. Don't get me wrong. But, like, dude, we had CM Punk versus John Cena. We had AJ Styles versus John Cena. We had Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar.
I swear, if you said John Cena again, I was about to be real pissed.
John Cena.
Propaganda.
But man, it's been it's been a while since all three of us got together and did an episode, so this is pretty cool. And thank you, for always putting me over and supporting me. And I wouldn't be here without you. And thank you. And I can't wait for everybody to listen to our Jimmy Jacobs interview. We got into a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, man, let's
How did you? If you would sum up the Jimmy Jacobs interview, like for you, what was your favorite part of it?
Like, I know wrestling is his job, so I know he didn't really want to talk about it, but definitely in the first 30 minutes when he talked about life and, the universe and, experiences like that, because I really believe in the unknown, and I really relate to that.
It was a really good episode. I think you guys will really enjoy the first 30 minutes of it if you if you're one of those people that likes to talk about things on more of a spiritual level and talk about the universe and talk about purpose and our being here on this planet and what it could potentially mean. And Jimmy Jacobs, man, he was going off and we didn't stop him because I was like, you know what, I'm with it too. Other than that, there's one last thing I want to say. You guys are probably tripping. Usually the shows have been dropping on Friday for the past year. It's been dropping every Friday. I've gotten the leeway with Dash Radio where I might be allowed to drop it on Saturdays and Sundays if I like. So I think moving forward, the reason why you guys are getting this on Saturday is I think I'm going to start dropping them either on Saturdays or Sunday mornings. I'm leaning more to Saturdays because pay-per-views are on Sunday, and that at least gives you like 24 hours to hear the predictions for the pay-per-views like we're going to do today. So get used to the show dropping on Saturday and Sundays. There will be a determined selected day given in the next couple of weeks. Like we'll know what's going to be on, I'm guessing most likely Saturdays. So yeah, guys, if you guys are used to your TWC show on Fridays, I apologize. It will now be coming out on Saturdays most likely because I don't want to drop it the same day as pay-per-views. And that's what's going to be going on, guys. So it airs on Dash Radio first anyways on Saturdays at 3 p.m. We were low-key dropping it early on Fridays secretly. But
low-key.
Now that I was just thinking about, I'm like, we must just drop them on Saturdays too because I like, for example, like if I was to talk about last week's SmackDown and like Jimmy Uso's return and all of that, like it feels so long ago now.
Yeah.
Whereas like when we talk about SmackDown that just aired a couple of hours ago, along with last week's SmackDown, like that seems so relevant to what people are going to listen to on Saturday morning. So all I ask for you guys is to continue to support, continue listening to the show. And if you are new here because you subscribe to the TWC show because this Daniel Monet interview popped off, welcome to what the TWC show is, and check everything out and get to know guys like SockMonkeyMike and Daniel. We're going to kick things off with going with the predictions for WrestleMania Backlash because I feel like let's just get them out of the way and we can talk about everything else and anything else we want to. How do you guys feel about it being called the WrestleMania Backlash? Because my only thing is this. If this show happened a couple of weeks after WrestleMania, I would kind of be like, okay. But it feels like WrestleMania was so long ago now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll go first. I think I don't know why it's called WrestleMania Backlash. It should just be called Backlash. I don't know what they're trying to prove here. It's like the Randy Orton versus Edge thing, where it's like, oh, this is the greatest match. Like the taglines on this, on these pay-per-views for the last couple of months, I would say it's just been weird. You know what I mean? Like the eye for an eye thing, and now this. Like I don't understand, but nonetheless, I think it should be good. I was thinking of skipping on it, but Roman versus Cesaro has really caught my attention as of late, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and going to Daniel's point, I feel like that with WrestleMania Backlash, I mean, we're so used to, I mean, of course, I'm not from the Attitude Era. I know I wasn't born during the times when it was like Justin had
What do you
explained.
mean you were born on
I mean, if
you
you
were
have
born
the
on the
WWE Network or you have the Cock, you can watch the WWE.
But to my point, though, I mean, like, I'm used to just Backlash being its own entity, you know, and then having this. I mean, it's okay. It's not anything great. It's not phenomenal. I'm not edge of my seat for WrestleMania Backlash. See everything from WrestleMania in front of a virtual crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel you. I just
got
distracted by this picture. It popped up when I went on Instagram.
Jesus
But if you're watching this, you just saw this picture, and that is something that will distract you. Beautiful.
Justin, you realize there's kids on this Patreon, right?
Steven's wrestling journey. That's a distraction, guy. But
well, pal. Let's keep it.
My thing is this too. I do understand what they're trying to do in terms of marketing purposes, because if you attach the word WrestleMania to Backlash and it's freshly on Peacock, people might that aren't wrestling fans, but they know WrestleMania is a brand name that people know. Mm-hmm. It's the Super Bowl of the WWE.
Yeah.
So if you're like a Peacock user and you have, because you guys gotta remember, like Peacock, the Cock is an NBC streaming service, and that means the Office is on there and all these NBC shows and stuff, like it's movies. I think someone told me that they just watched what's that movie called, Nutty Professor on there recently or something. But like so if you say that there's a WrestleMania something for the next pay-per-view and it's just brand new on Peacock, people might be like, WrestleMania again? Maybe I'll check it out. I think it's kind of a marketing ploy to get people to watch this Backlash, even though it's not really WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. That being said, the card is very underwhelming, personally, in my mind. Am I looking forward to Cesaro and Roman? I think that's honestly about it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Bianca and Bayley will be an okay match. I'm sure other matches will be good. Most of the time when I go into a pay-per-view event with lower expectations, the show exceeds my expectations. So
sorry to cut you off. My only problem with this is they announced matches on Twitter and stuff. For example, Bianca and Bayley got announced on Twitter. There was no build up to this. Bianca didn't attack Bayley or Bayley didn't attack Bianca. It's just randomly got announced, and I don't understand why they're not building up matches like that. But at the end of the day, we're still in that pandemic era of professional wrestling, so I get it, but it's really hard to get invested with no fans, because watching it live with fans compared to with the Thunderdome, I don't feel it. It makes me I feel tired watching it.
Now that you brought that up, AEW said they're going to go back to touring, I think in June or July.
Yeah.
They're going to be heading through Texas and other places, and they're going to be bringing fans back. WWE has said they've been shooting to have fans back by SummerSlam. There's rumors about them having Madison Square Garden for SummerSlam this year, so maybe that will be a thing. Obviously, you guys got to look at it from this perspective, though. We just saw UFC have a shitload of fans. We saw AEW have quite a handful of fans for the Blood and Guts show. I think everyone's like, why doesn't WWE just pull the trigger and have a lot of fans? They are a publicly traded company, guys. They are not a private company like the UFC. They are not a smaller company like AEW. And I'm not saying AEW is a small company by no means, but when you say the word professional wrestling to a stranger, the first thing that comes to mind is WWE or WWF. They'll still say the old one. Mm-hmm. They are the roller blades of roller skates, the Kleenex to tissues. They're the brand leader. You know what I mean? They're the McDonald's and the Disney of the professional wrestling. That's when you say cartoon movies, people think Disney. When you think wrestling, people think WWE. And they got a microscope on them. The media is always watching what they're doing. They got advertisers, they got sponsors, they got shareholders they got to cater to. I'm sure if it was just up to Vince McMahon, they would have had fans back in there a long time ago. But obviously, he's working with people that also make decisions in that company now. We hear a lot about that guy, Nick Khan. You know what I mean? So may not be the smartest move for them to bring fans back right away to bring that negative publicity to them. But I think they're going to gradually do so. And I'm looking forward to it, because to Daniel's point, wrestling without fans has not been that great.
It's hard.
A lot of people have fallen off from watching wrestling. A lot of wrestling fans that were hardcore wrestling fans have fallen off from watching the weekly shows.
Including myself.
Not necessarily because the product is bad and these guys aren't busting their asses, but it's just not the same without fans. It just isn't.
100%. I think the fans make it professional wrestling. If it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't have great moments in professional wrestling. For example, Hogan and Rock. Imagine that without fans. You just can't. It would just be mediocre. But
And they tried. They tried. Like the Thunderdome.
Of course.
Thing,
I'm not saying they didn't try. I'm just saying like having no fans, just like the vibe's not right. You know what I mean? Because we're programmed as human beings, as professional wrestling fans. I'm going the hippie route today. I don't know why, but we're programmed to just watch wrestling with the crowd reactions and stuff, and not having that is really hard. So.
I'm with you, but let's move forward. Let me go down the card. Let's get through these predictions quickly, quick styles, as I usually like to say back in the day when I was a kid. Number 6, the 6 matches on this card as per Friday night. We got Damian Priest versus The Miz in a lumberjack match. I'm gonna go out with this one first and say I think Damian Priest needs to win. Just because so far Damian Priest is known for being Bad Bunny's friend, and he needs to, on the main roster at least, and he needs to break out of that character and become his own person. Therefore, The Miz losing doesn't hurt The Miz. We've seen The Miz lose a lot in the past. We just saw him hold the WWE title earlier this year for a week, and he's still the fucking Miz.
I forgot about that.
I'm gonna go with Damian Priest. We'll start with you, SockMonkeyMike. Damian Priest or The Miz?
You know what? I was really thinking about this a lot recently. I see your point where Damian Priest needs to win, but I'm going to say The Miz. I'm going to say that he finds an antic because it's a lumberjack match. Chaos will happen in the ring somehow, some way. Miz wins.
Daniel, Damian or The Miz?
Definitely Damian Priest. I think Miz and Morrison are going to break up eventually and do their thing. So.
Yeah, just like that, huh?
Just like that. Clap them cheeks. The Dirty Dogs versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, would you look at that? Dolph's on the card.
And it's for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships, guys. I don't know what's on the kickoff, but this could potentially be the match on the kickoff. And who do you guys got for this match, and what is your guys' prediction?
You know what? I don't care. Dirty Dogs should keep the title. Screw Ray and his son. Whatever, man.
They're called the Dirty Dogs now?
They've been called that for like months, Mike.
Oh, well, I haven't been paying attention to the product. So I guess I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. I think that this is their time to hold championships together. I think this will eventually lead to Dominic turning heel on his own father.
You know what? And we want that. And I want to be honest with you, like I'm gonna give an opinion about SmackDown as we talk about the prediction for this match. Growing up, always been a Rey Mysterio fan since a little kid, right? Like, WCW, Rey Mysterio on Nitro when he came to WWE in 2002. There's obviously I can't sit here and tell you that Rey's like one of my favorites in my top 10 or anything like that, but he's definitely probably in my top 30. And someone I grew up a huge fan of and kind of throughout the years fallen in and out of fandom with, but never disliked him at any point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just when he comes out these days, I just don't care.
No, that's wrong.
Shine is off Ray, and I think it's because he has. It's almost like, let's go back. We're 93 episodes in. If you guys have been loyal listeners to the show, you can probably go back a few months where I was like, man, there's just so many guys that have been here since 2008 that are still here. Rey Mysterio, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton. I was naming all these names, right? But what I realized specifically recently is that they know that they have all these guys that have been here so long. And I think there is truth to overstaying your welcome, because these guys that are still here, that were here in 2007, 2008, all aren't feeling important no more. But it's not because WWE doesn't want to use them in those spots. It's because they have so much younger talent that these older guys we just saw Jinder Mahal beat Jeff Hardy on Raw.
Okay, listen.
And then on main event, we see Rey Mysterio come on. I don't even care to see Rey Mysterio anymore. And I sure as hell don't give no disrespect to Dominic. When he first came and they had the angle of Dominic and he was there for the Brock feud and he was there for the Seth feud, I was with it. But ever since they turned away from Dominic and they went to Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy and put Dominic in the back burner and then they tried to bring Dominic back to the front, I just don't even fucking care anymore. Send the kid to NXT, let Ray go wrestle somewhere else where he'll be a bigger star in a smaller pond, or he can just be relevant, or let him just retire if he wants to. These guys will probably win the tag titles this Sunday. That is my prediction for the match.
Okay, but
I don't care. But to Mike's point, if they do an angle where Dominic turns on Ray, which writes Ray off of TV or something after the fact, and Dominic can stand on his own maybe, my perspective will change. But as of right now, I'm sick of seeing Rey Mysterio, and I'm sick of seeing Dominic. I respect the living fucking shit out of Rey Mysterio. He's one of the greatest luchadors of all fucking time. I like Dominic. I think he has potential. But I'm sick of them together, and I'm sick of them seeing them together almost. And they are almost giving me Baron Corbin treatment that when Rey Mysterio's music hits on a SmackDown, I'm tuned out of the show.
Dang, that's
Okay,
wow.
well, that's a lot for young fans to take in because you just hurt their feelings. But okay, so I get that a lot of wrestlers, especially guys who have been there since 2008, like Ziggler, like Mysterio, like an Orton, like a Jeff Hardy.
And then wait, time out. I should take them back because those guys, I shouldn't be saying about guys like Ziggler and Shane.
Okay, but
I should be saying for guys that have been around since the 90s, like Edge and Rey Mysterio.
Okay, but
Jeff Hardy.
It doesn't matter. Listen to my point.
The 90s.
I don't care.
You weren't even born for most of that decade.
It doesn't matter. Listen.
You weren't even alive. You weren't even a thought, Daniel.
You want to shoot from the hip tonight? Because I'll shoot all over this show.
Don't work yourself into a shoot though, brother.
Shut up, Terry. But okay, so you have these talent. You have a Hardy. You have an Edge. They can be used properly in the feud. They don't necessarily have to win the world title. I'm just saying, why book a random match on a Monday Night Raw with Jinder Mahal? No disrespect to Jinder Mahal. I think he's a great wrestler. You know what I mean? He's a fucking phenomenal worker. He worked his ass off to be where he is. And Mike, let me get to my point. It's not Gargano. Relax. But the point is, I think if Jinder and Jeff Hardy had a proper feud and if Jinder won, that's okay. At least he was in a prominent feud with the guy like Jeff Hardy, and he could fucking benefit from that instead of fucking having that match on a random Raw or a random SmackDown. Rey Mysterio can be put in that same position if they booked it right. It doesn't matter if they're there for a long time, but
no, because they shouldn't be. Jeff Hardy shouldn't be booked on the top of the card.
Yeah, but young guys
shouldn't be booked on the top of the card.
Young guys.
There's so many guys. The fact that Shinsuke's fighting fucking Baron Corbin over a fucking crown, which they should probably have a King of the Ring tournament, and Shinsuke should win. And
young guys can use that rub from like a Jeff Hardy.
And they're getting that rub. What do you think Jinder's getting that rub from?
Okay.
What do you think these guys are? You're putting over his son.
How's he getting a rub if it's a random match on a Raw with no fucking build up?
Ladies, you're both beautiful. Can we continue on?
No, like
you want Jeff Hardy to be booked in like a world title feud, and it's never going to happen because it shouldn't.
Okay,
it shouldn't.
I never said
guys
that.
like Jinder should be beating him because there's no reason for him to still be here. When Jeff Hardy's music
I never said that.
I don't care either, to be honest.
Okay, well, it's not fucking his fucking fault. The fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying if Jeff Hardy left and worked at an AEW,
what happened?
Okay,
because it's the fucking creative team who has nothing for him. They don't have.
They shouldn't have anything for him because there's nothing. There's so many new stars in the WWE that these guys are just nostalgia acts.
Okay, can I input something here?
Was that the Undertaker for the last 5
years? It was.
Oh, okay.
But at least he only showed up one time a year.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. Old guys should work new guys to get the rub in a good storyline.
Yeah, old guys like Sheamus and Randy Orton that popped around like the early 2000s. Not guys that have been around since like 1995.
It doesn't matter.
I'm really sorry for the Patreon users.
Who did Jeff Hardy fucking feud? Randy Orton.
Okay. Yeah, two old guys.
Okay, but if Jeff Hardy feuded a guy,
what young guy has Jeff Hardy put over this entire time he's been back? Actually,
I don't know.
No one. He had a whole feud with Elias that he won and then faded in the dark.
But again, I feel like you fucking sometimes act as if like these guys booked themselves in the fucking feud.
You are acting like even if you got booked better. So do you want him to help younger talent? Do you not want them to help younger talent? You seem like you're contradicting yourself when you're confused.
I'm not contradicting anything. I'm saying he should fucking wrestle younger guys and put them over in a prominent feud. He can go. What would you just say?
You seem more frustrated.
I'm not frustrated. I'm just making a point. All right.
You guys gonna start to tell me
that
that I just whooped your ass.
Yeah. Can we go? Can we keep going, please?
I'll come there. You know what I mean? I'll come to your house. Pillman's got a gun.
All right, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Okay, I'm gonna go first for this one. Singles match. Bianca's winning. Bianca won the belt at WrestleMania in an amazing match against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks showed up 1 week on SmackDown, showed she was frustrated, took some time off. I like it. You know what's so crazy? Here's another hot take. SockMonkeyMike. Sasha Banks has been gone for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm already anticipating her return, and I miss her. So when she comes back, it's like, fuck yeah, Sasha's back. We're gonna get Sasha Bianca 2. Let's go. Wait, you guys tell me Sasha Bianca 2 is gonna be good, right? You can't say Bianca and Sasha 1 is bad, right?
That's kind of a hypocritical thing to say, because like,
oh my god,
no, like, you know, you're
go back to Jeff Hardy. I don't want to hear it.
It is, because you're Sasha's biggest fucking mark. Of course, you're gonna fucking anticipate on her fucking return. When Jeff was gone for fucking 10 years,
what did this episode turn into?
When Jeff was gone for 10 years, I fucking waited, and when he came back, your mark has popped, and you know it.
Because I like the Hardy Boys. I don't like Jeff Hardy as a solo star.
Okay, Jeff made it regardless of guys like you criticizing him.
So, anyways,
I won the battle.
My point was nothing to do with Jeff Harvey, because we moved on from Jeff Harvey.
Well, I proved my point.
Ladies, you're both beautiful.
My point is this, and even when Charlotte's gone, I thought Charlotte got suspended. I got upset. I'm like, man, we need Charlotte back. Charlotte's been like one of the best things on Raw the past few weeks. Listen, when she comes back, I'm gonna be happy. I'll be excited. Yeah. Hopefully, she's in the major storyline. I don't miss Becky Lynch at all.
Oh, me neither.
Like at all. Like there's nothing. I don't hate Becky Lynch. I'm actually a big fan of Becky Lynch. I don't love Becky Lynch. She's not a Sasha Banks to me. Don't get me wrong.
Wow.
But when everyone's like, "Yo, we need Becky Lynch," I'm like, "No, not really. Like, I don't really care. Like, what? Okay, she comes back, and then what? Like, I don't miss her either. I'm happy for her with the baby. My condolences for her losing her father. She's been going through a lot in her personal life and all that. But at the end of the day, like, as storyline purposes and television purposes, like, I don't care. If Becky Lynch never comes back, wouldn't faze me at all.
No, me
okay,
either.
so here's something you gotta learn, Justin Dhillon of the Wrestling Classic. And
like everyone's blowing
Daniel. No. You gotta listen here. This is coming.
Is this your Jeff Harvey? Go ahead.
This man is the man.
At least I don't have bad opinions, man. Fucking, I don't know what.
No, let Mike talk. You've talked enough.
Let me talk. Wait, Daniel, what is on with
okay, bro? Where you been for the last 2 weeks?
Becky Lynch is the greatest women's wrestler of our current generation.
Sasha Banks?
I said Becky Lynch, but no.
I don't think Becky's all wrong. I don't think Becky's all that.
For second women's Royal Rumble winner. For a part of the 3 women, you could argue, say, oh, well, Charlotte was in there. Oh, Ronda was in there. For one of the first ever.
Sasha and Bianca blew that triple threat match out of the water.
Oh, 110%. Without a shadow of a doubt.
See, you know what's funny?
Sasha, Becky, Charlotte was a better triple threat match.
You know what's funny? I like how you guys fight over Jeff Hardy, but then when all of a sudden you say something, you guys like to team up.
I don't know. We're weird, man. I don't know.
I know how to push people's buttons, and I know my allegiances.
Anyways, Johnny Gargano is the greatest NXT superstar of all time. Don't at me.
Yeah, so anyways, I say Bianca. Let me ask you, Mike, since you are a Becky fan, okay? Because I have my opinions of how they should bring Becky back. I do.
But
in your opinion, like if Becky doesn't come back, how would you book her? Like who would be a first feud? Would she be on
Raw? First feud.
Have you been watching properly a lot right now? Because I feel like you haven't been watching a lot properly either.
I think a great first feud with Becky would be against Bianca Belair. Because that would elevate the younger talent. And then not only that, it would elevate Becky into facing someone new. We already seen Becky versus Charlotte. We've already seen Becky versus Sasha. We've already seen many times and horrible reasons too, Becky versus Lacey.
But have we seen Becky versus Rhea?
Can I just be honest? Rhea Ripley is she the Raw champion right now?
We're gonna get there. Before we get there, really quickly, Bianca and Bayley. Who's your prediction, Mike?
Bianca
and Bayley. Who's your prediction?
Bayley, whatever.
What? Why?
I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I get Bianca's hype. Not for me. Never for me. Never for me.
Whoa.
I'll be the odd one out, man.
Whoa.
That's an unsubscription to the Dropkick Podcast.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm like fully invested on the Bianca bandwagon because, like I said, going into WrestleMania, I didn't see enough of her to be fully on it. She impressed the living shit on me at WrestleMania.
She's a great wrestler.
I want to see if she could sink or swim with the title, and she's been swimming, and it's been good right now. She's been coasting. She's gonna have to go through a couple of opponents like Bayley, maybe Carmella, because they let Carmella pick up a win last week against Ruby Riott, and for some fucking reason didn't have her on TV this week. Where's Carmella? Put her on TV and leave her there. But
100%.
But then I thought they were going to have Carmella versus someone again this week to build her as Bianca's next opponent until we get Sasha to come back and we get the rematch. Like, that's my long-term booking in my mind. But to say you really don't see it that much that you wanted to lose the title already is pretty easy.
Justin, listen. You know this. We have a group chat together. Shout out to Tope. But I know Bianca's a great wrestler, phenomenal wrestler, athletic as hell. You don't get me wrong, but there are just some wrestlers that I just don't connect with. You know what I mean? Like, you don't connect with Jeff Hardy, and I understand that that's not for you.
I don't not connect with Jeff Hardy.
You don't get it like I do.
I also just, if you're watching on Patreon, you get to see Mike dance. I also don't, and me drinking tea, but I also don't just like.
But that was just an example. You know what I mean?
Okay, go on.
That was just an example.
No more Jeff Hardy talk, please.
Okay. Like, some people won't like John Cena, and I understand that.
Oh my god.
It's the same thing for Bianca. You know, like, I think she's a great wrestler. I respect the hell out of her, but it's not for me. I like Sasha more, and that's okay, guys. That's okay.
Sasha will always be number one in my heart.
I'm okay. My soul. It's okay to have
Becky will be for mine.
She's not that great, anyways. I love Becky. I'm a Becky fan.
She's a great.
I would almost say I think she's in my like top 10 favorite women's wrestlers of all time for sure.
Yeah.
You know, there's Sasha, there's Lita, there's Charlotte, there's Trish, probably Becky, to be honest. Then it's like China, AJ Lee, etc., etc., etc. But like, I just don't miss Becky. Like, when everyone's like, "Oh, Becky needs to come back," I'm like, for what?
You know what I miss? I miss Ronda
Rousey. What? Like, what is it going to change when Becky comes back? Like, I don't get it. Her title reign got so boring too.
Yeah.
It did. Because, okay, maybe to Daniel's point, the thing that Becky never did was I liked it better when Becky would lose the belt if she would have lost the belt and had to chase it again. They just kept having her win.
There's some
the booking of her run got boring. It wasn't Becky.
No, 100%. There's some wrestlers all over the world that are just better chasing the title than being champion, like the underdogs, right? Like, for example, when Seth won the title in 2019, it was so cool seeing him be, the guy who's chasing the belt instead of being the champion. You like the run?
No, so here's the thing.
Let me hear it.
I enjoyed the run.
Okay.
He won. Seth won against Brock for the exact wrong reason.
What's that? What's your reason?
So he could have been, if they booked it right.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew when Seth won the Rumble, everybody and their mamas knew that he was taking the title off of Brock, and they were going to be pissed off if Brock won the match. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So what was sad about that situation, and you guys could disagree on this, in my view as a fan, and I've talked to other people that have agreed upon this, the fans were behind the idea that Brock was losing the title rather than Seth winning the title. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you look at what the momentum was at the time, the reason why they popped so big was because A, the match ended quickly than possible. B, it was the first match at WrestleMania 35. And then C, the title was not on Brock anymore. Because that was at the time, I think, his either third or second time winning the Universal Championship.
I think third or second. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's that's my take on it. I feel like that Seth was in a bad position. I think they were more focused on Kofi Mania at the time. So then Seth was kind of just, I won the Universal Championship. Yay.
Yeah.
No, they fucking paired him with fucking Becky and had a lame-ass tag team feud against Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. And then Seth never really got to run with the belt because the next thing you know, Brock just cashed in again.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Mustafa Ali. He should have won.
And it should have been Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali and Ricochet should be wrestling on Raw.
And Retribution could have debuted a year earlier.
And they should have done the whole Kofi and Ali. They should have done the whole Kofi and Ali feud for WrestleMania this year. Other than the AJ Omos thing, which is horrible. Speaking about AJ and Omos, they came back. They're the tag champions. Does anyone care?
I talked to you guys about it. I know I talked to Justin. I'm like, you look at AJ and Omos. AJ is like, what, 41? He's almost done.
Man's running age angles.
He's not even. He's older than 41. He's like 44 or something. But my thing is this. My thing about AJ Styles and Omos is, listen, I don't mind them as a pair. I liked it. I liked it enough when Omos was like AJ's bodyguard guy outside the ring. I don't like them as a team. I think AJ should be chasing the world title or something with Omos in his corner. I buy into that more than them being a tag team.
100%.
Now that being said, they did the whole thing at WrestleMania. They won the tag belts. They've been showcasing No Miss. I don't see them holding the belts for long. I think we can all agree that RKO bro is like a thing right now.
Here's the thing about AJ and Omos. Sadly, they're booking him, AJ, like how they did the Brian Kendrick back in 2008. They give him Ezekiel Jackson. They give him what are you laughing at?
What a weird.
Keep going. Please keep going. Elaborate.
No, it's just the feel is you give Omos a tag team championship, and like I don't know, it's interesting. I like to see it. Like he's 7'5", close to 8 feet. He's a really intimidating factor. I mean, why are you laughing?
I'm not.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Daniel that's like dying back there.
Did you like love the revamped version of ECW? That's like a genuine question because not a lot of people did. So I appreciate that, by the way. And I think Christian.
Okay, say that without laughing.
I think I don't know what I was gonna say, but like
for anyone who's listening to this for the first time, I want you to know the character of SockMonkeyMike. This is a man
he's a character
who will say wholeheartedly,
wholeheartedly,
with all of his true passion, with all of his passion.
Wait, hold on. Passion.
That he would rather watch every week. He would rather watch AEW Dark over Dynamite, and genuinely mean it.
Yes, because AEW Dark is the premier show. What's Dynamite? Who cares about a pre-recorded show? The pre-recorded show that we all want.
When we sit here and we praise SmackDown, he's like, but did you watch 205 Live? That's SockMonkeyMike.
Did you watch Mansoor, who's now a huge name in NXT?
Wait, he's in NXT now?
No, he beat
he's on Raw.
2 weeks ago on Raw. Okay, but anyways, all that aside.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got here.
Passion.
I don't know how we got here.
We'll talk about AJ.
RKO bro, goodbye.
RKO
Them, and I just want AJ to get back to singles action.
Yeah.
I like RKO bro. I think it's interesting. It's funny. Randy Orton just went through a whole feud of setting people on fire and beating up women. So for him to go into a more lighthearted feud,
what a weird transition. He was just beating up women, guys. Now he's just setting motherfuckers on fire. Like,
now we're just hanging out with a stoner.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're just hanging out with a stoner who wants to be his best friend, ride a scooter around him while Orton kicks ass. And they're talking about the tag belts. And if you listen to Randy Orton and Kurt Angle's podcast, The Angle Pod, they had Randy Orton on as a guest, and he told the whole story about how he really didn't like Matt Riddle when he first met him because Matt Riddle didn't shake everyone's hand. But he's grown to really like Matt Riddle. And in my head, I'm like, you're both stoners, so this makes sense.
But quick shout to Bray Wyatt. Like, I don't know if you guys read, but the reason why he hasn't been on TV because he's been really upset over Brody's death a few months back, and I think that's why he lost at WrestleMania. Now I get it, so it's write him off. But yeah, prayers go to him because I know mental illness is
shout out to Bray.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to deal
with.
Moving
forward, then the next match: Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. I've been saying some of the best thing that's been on Raw for the last 4 weeks has been Charlotte Flair. Whether you like her or you dislike her, her promos have been fire, and she's living up to everything that people say about her. Everyone hates her. She's Ric Flair's daughter. Everyone hates her. She gets all the opportunities. Now she's calling herself the Opportunity. Is that a great nickname? Not really, but it makes sense when she uses it in a promo. I don't know about calling yourself the Opportunity, but saying that you get all the opportunities by calling in promos makes sense. I love what Charlotte Flair is doing. I know people are saying, Charlotte Flair is inserting another women's championship match. Of course she is. Of fucking course she is. Because to be honest with you, we watched Rhea versus Asuka at WrestleMania, and nobody was into it. And nobody was going to be into a singles rematch between the two either. Because not that they haven't booked Asuka strong. They've booked Asuka strong, so don't get it wrong. She's been tag champions, women champions multiple times these past few years. It's not that she hasn't been booked strong in terms of winning matches and belts. It's that she's been poorly booked or misutilized to her fullest potential as a character.
Not necessarily. I think Asuka and Rhea Ripley just have bad chemistry.
No, but Asuka's been pretty boring. She was a champion for so long and never
I know
for so long.
I understand that, but I'm saying together them in the ring.
No, I think it would have been better if we got the Asuka we used to know. It's just the Asuka we're getting against Rhea Ripley is this Asuka that's been watered down and kind of it's Asuka, whatever.
I guess.
But anyways, that being said, you needed Charlotte to make this match work. That being said, I also don't think Charlotte's winning. We see that Alexa Bliss has her eyes on Charlotte.
Is it bad that I just want Charlotte to win? And
Alexa Bliss has her eyes on Charlotte. There's a chance that Charlotte could win, and then Alexa attacks Charlotte after. That could happen. Then you're taking Rhea fully out of the picture, and that can't happen yet. Rhea is a heel. She needs to hang on to that belt. Charlotte does not win because of Alexa Bliss. Rhea retains. Unfortunately, Asuka takes the fall. Mike, your hand is up. What would you like to say, sir?
Oh, well, thank you, teacher. So I would like to say.
Would you call me a professor?
I would like to say that Charlotte becomes our new Raw Women's Champion, and Alexa Bliss will be the first challenger.
Daniel?
I want Charlotte, man.
Well, I'm going to stick with Rhea. You guys are fucking wild. I'm not going to be mad if Charlotte wins, but I know a lot of people will.
It's okay.
Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. Listen, I like Drew. I'm a big Drew fan. I think he did him really well last year. He had a great run as champion, a couple of runs as champion. They built him as a main event star, without a doubt. I like Bobby Lashley, and I like Bobby Lashley as the world champion.
Wrong title, Daniel.
I don't care for Braun Strowman whatsoever. No, not the human being, not Adam Shearer that posts funny pictures on Instagram. He seems cool, so don't get me wrong. I just mean Braun Strowman, the character, fucking sucks.
Oh, I'm just so confused by his character because, like, there was a double turn last year with him and the Fiend, and then he became a babyface in that same outfit that he's had for a year now. I don't get it.
Nipples? With his nipples popping out there, looking very uncomfortable with his tight ass shirts.
Oh, you're talking about Braun or you're talking about Mike?
Braun.
What?
I don't know. You know what? I think Braun's I think he reached his peak in 2017 when he was feuding the Tribal Chief.
2018 when he won the title with the Kid. Everything after the Kid was fucked.
I guess, yeah.
But anyways, I'm just gonna go because I want him to stay champion. I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley because
he's champion.
I don't want Bobby to lose the belt, and I wish that I'm like, why? Please, AJ, lose the belt. They didn't book a tag title matchup, but lose the belt. AJ turning babyface to go after Lashley. I fuck with it.
Bobby Lashley will retain and do the same thing that Roman Reigns did at WrestleMania, where he pinned both men.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Daniel, Bobby Lashley, or Drew, or Braun?
Are you okay, Mike? I want Lashley. I want Lashley for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we're all saying Lashley. Yeah. No disrespect to Drew. It's just that if Drew wins the belt again, it's like, okay, this is getting repetitive now.
Not even repetitive. But it's like, what are we gonna do now with Drew? Because I feel like he's wrestled everybody on the Raw roster.
Yeah, and they got to do a shakeup soon because something, these Alistair promos, I'm loving them. They should be on Raw. He should probably be coming to Raw. Finn, if he loses to Karrion Kross this next week coming up on NXT, go to Raw. Show up in Raw and challenge Bobby Lashley. We need something new. We need something fresh.
Yeah.
Sheamus is on this card. He's been feeding up Humberto, but like maybe put him in the title picture. I don't know. We just need to mix it up. I would have loved Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley, but instead of giving us that before RK Bro, they went straight to RKO Bro. So I don't know. Last but not least, Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Jimmy Uso returned to SmackDown last week. This week he fought Cesaro to prove a point. He's not acknowledging the tribal chief. Doesn't want to sit at the table with Roman. He still sees Roman as his cousin. He doesn't get this whole thing with Jay's acting like Roman's bitch now. He wore a shirt tonight that said nobody's bitch. Jimmy's not about this whole bloodline stable and hanging out with his brother and his cousin and just being behind Roman and Jay is. So while that played a part in this match, I do think so. Would I rather, and I hope that we just get a really solid singles match between Cesaro and Roman without any shenanigans? For sure. But what have we learned about Roman Reigns as a heel right now? We know Roman can win matches. We know Roman's great. But as a heel, there's always shenanigans helping Roman win.
Yeah.
And Roman acts like he's winning by himself, even though it's been Jay helping him. It's been Paul Heyman helping him. Like he's always getting a hand. Roman would not have walked out of WrestleMania with the belt if it wasn't for Jey Uso. And that's a recurring trend that we have here. I would love to see Cesaro win the Universal Champion. Of course, I think we all would. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But this isn't it. This isn't the time. But they're doing a great job building him as a future contender later dates as well. How do you guys feel about this? Roman or Cesaro? I'm going to go with the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns.
Probably Roman. I
Roman,
really
yeah.
wish Cesaro won the belt, but yeah.
You better acknowledge me as the head of the table, tribal chief.
Mike, you can't even cook. Okay?
And
Sit down.
sit down. Oh, I can't get up right now. My knees hurt. But I'm gonna go
Now
with
going to the gym is turning into a tribal beast.
Thank you. But no, I honestly think that, with Cesaro, I'm so behind Cesaro becoming a Universal Champion. However, like Justin said, I don't feel like that right now is the time, especially on a pay-per-view called WrestleMania Backlash. It's very few times where the WWE or Universal Championship has changed hands at a non-WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, or SummerSlam pay-per-view, or even Survivor Series. So I'm going to say, Roman Reigns retains. It's probably going to be shenanigans again. Or Roman Reigns just dominates. You know what I mean? He's the tribal chief. He's the head of the table. And I'm really loving what they do with him. I don't actually see him losing the titles for either two things. Either it's SummerSlam or Survivor Series that he loses it, or not all the way till WrestleMania next year. There is no way in hell he's going to lose it.
And I'm with it. I'm okay with it. It's weird. I thought they were going to book Apollo versus Big E versus Owens versus Zayn for this pay-per-view, but they're doing it for the following week's SmackDown. I'm looking forward to that. Tonight's SmackDown was good. Bianca looked amazing. Good promo from Bayley. The main event was good between Salazar and Jey Uso. The promos with the family, with Jay, Jimmy, and Roman have all been great. SmackDown's been the better show every week for WWE. Raw's been tough to watch. It has its shining moments like Arcade Bro. Has its shining moments like the women's division with Charlotte and Alexa. But other than that, no disrespect to any of the talents. I'm a Sheamus fan. I'm a Drew fan. I'm happy Lashley's a champion. I love
No,
that.
you're not.
I am. I'm happy that Lashley's
Get out of here.
Get out of here. But I'm happy Jinder's back and they're gonna do something with him. And they put him with two other Punjabi guys. And a couple of more Punjabi guys. Jinder's always getting these Indians together. We got Shanky and Rinku with him, and Rinku, if you guys don't know, was actually the guy. If you ever watched that movie $1 Million Arm, the Rinku's who that movie was based off of. And now he's in the WWE, standing next to Jinder Mahal.
So I'm curious, are they going by the tag team name Rinku yet? Because originally one of the members was a part of Rinku.
Okay, so Rinku's not the tag team name. The tag team name was Indoshir.
Indoshir. I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But are they going to be called that now?
He was an actor, and he was trained by the great Khali, Hall of Famer. But I'm looking forward to see where that goes. It's crazy that they pulled out the smallest Singh brothers and put two giants with Jinder instead, and we'll see what happens. And the Bollywood boys have been killing it on 205 Live, as Mike's been saying. But other than that, Booker T documentary A&E. It was good. It was wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. It was friendly towards Booker. He was alive to share his narrative.
Mm-hmm. The Brian Pillman.
They skipped a lot of controversial shit, but they skipped a lot of controversial shit for Booker. And that once again made me even feel more that the Macho Man was a hit piece. Because that documentary said the ring. And 100%. Booker's was nice, and Austin's was nice, and Piper's was nice.
And it pisses me off. Your previous co-hosts were like, no, that documentary was fine. You shouldn't listen to Eric Bischoff. Let me tell you something. Eric Bischoff, one of the most creative minds in professional wrestling.
These
say it in front of the camera, not
these aren't documentaries. These are biographies. These biographies are supposed to show these people in good light. Documentaries are you get the hidden scoop, dark side of the rings type of stuff. Everybody else's biographies were nice and friendly with, they told us some of the bullshit they went through. Austin's alive to talk about his bullshit. They didn't talk about his domestic abuse and all that type of shit, though, because the biography on Austin. Piper wasn't alive, but they talked a lot of Piper's family was really involved with it, clearly, because all of his kids were on it. And, they didn't talk about his half-black face situation or all this other stuff that he's done in his career, too, the drug use and whatnot. Savage, made it seem like he got addicted to steroids when he was in WCW. They made it seem like his WWF career was all fine and dandy, but the moment he left, his life went downhill until the end of his life where he found peace. Get the hell out of here, man. He was, he's a regular dude that enjoyed ecstasy and, was taking steroids in the 80s when everybody was taking it. But we're not going to get into that again. All I'm saying was the Booker T one was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was very wholesome and friendly. And, Booker went through some shit growing up. He went to jail. He had a kid when he was 17. We learned a lot of stuff about Booker. Don't get me wrong. Still didn't feel like a hit piece like the Savage one did. Excited for the Shawn Michaels one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michael's alive and he's a very honest born again Christian that has nothing to hide and lays all of his feelings on the table. And I think we're gonna get I hope we get a really good Sean story. And yeah,
man, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Brett one mostly because
Brett. We saw Brett, Warrior, and Mick Foley after Sean. So.
You think they're gonna let Brett on last?
Brett is last. I've been told
wow.
an inside source that Bret Hart's the last one that's going to air, and they said it's probably because that was probably that was the last one they had to film because of all the travel restrictions from Calgary and this that. So that was the last one they were putting together. And also, I heard that every episode has a different director. That being said, like that also could be a reason why the Macho one was.
Yeah, do you think?
And then there was rumors swirling, guys, that they filmed stuff about the Booker Triple H feud of WrestleMania 19, but it was requested to be taken off because WWE didn't want on there because their fingerprints are all over these biographies as well, right? It's a collaboration. Then Booker denied it, but people are like, he's probably just saying that. But he's like, yeah, you did talk about it to me, and you did talk about maybe with Triple H, but it was never meant to be on there, yada yada yada. But like, that's a rumor swirling around. Guys.
I don't know, man. I'm like, these documentaries are cool, but like, I don't know, they're whatever. The Savage
Macho one left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna get over it. It could have been so much better. They could have interviewed better people. No disrespect to the people that were on there, but like once again, Bubba Love Sponge could have been on there as much as he was.
Cardillo could have even been on there.
So many other better Terry. I understand Terry being on there, but the amount of Terry that we got was not the amount that we needed.
Yeah.
You know, but, yeah.
The person who like edited that too was pretty funny.
Yeah. And then other than that, Dark Side of the Ring, the Nick Gage episode's good, the Pillman episodes are good, and they're killing it. I'm looking forward to see the Korea one next week. And anything else on the documentaries, guys, and that stuff? Are you guys all
pretty good, man? I gotta watch the Nick Gage one.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I said I've been loving every single piece of content that has been putting out through Dark Side of the Ring, and of course these documentaries on A&E. Shout out to A&E that is not sponsored by this podcast, and also shout out to Vice for somehow not sponsoring this podcast.
AEW though this week?
Why are you a robot?
I am not a robot. I am just tired. By the way, shout out to Dash Radio and everybody at 137pm.com for all their contribution.
I know. Keep on going. We're gonna go over an hour, so might as well plug the ads now because we're gonna talk.
We also would like to thank everybody from the Dropkick Podcast for all their unlimited support. So shout out to Danial Ali. Shout out also.
Remember when I wore this and I put someone through the barbershop window?
Oh wow!
Shout out also to the Jenna Ben Show.
Okay,
you definitely.
Okay. Shout out to Jenna Ben. We love you. We're gonna stop them there before we get to AEW. So we'll probably get to AEW at the top of the hour, and we'll wrap it up with that. Let's talk about the few things that did happen on Next, aka NXT. Karrion Kross beat Austin Theory. He got confronted by Finn Balor. So we're getting Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross next week for the NXT Championship, which pretty fascinating that Karrion Kross is basically just defending the title every week. How do you guys feel about that?
It's good, but I don't think personally the world title should be defended every week as if it's like a workhorse title. But it should be the North American title that should be defended every week.
I disagree with you, sir. I believe that the world title should be on the television platform on a weekly basis because, you know, like to Justin's point, we really never see the world champion defend their title, especially on a weekly kind of daily basis when it comes to, you know, television appearances.
Fair enough.
But at the same time, look what Darby Allin's been doing as a secondary title. And then so you look at that logic, and then everybody's been loving that logic because it's a secondary title. And then they're like, man, well, why does the AEW champion doesn't do that? And then you put that logic to NXT. I feel like that Karrion Kross could do great things, and he will do great things with the NXT championship a second time, you know, injuries aside from the first time. So, you know, I just hope the best for Karrion Kross. He has a great look. He has a great intimidating factor to him. And I really feel like that he's going to end the year of 2021 still with the NXT championship.
Fair enough. We saw Raquel defeat Mercedes Martinez defending the NXT Women's Championship. I think that was another one that was pretty obvious that Raquel was going to retain. She just won the belt. And no disrespect to Mercedes Martinez. I'm sure she'll be after that belt again soon. Does this continue? Does someone else come after Raquel?
Daniel?
I don't watch NXT.
Mike?
Okay, well, dang. I feel like that. I know Frankie Monet, aka Taya Valkyrie, was a part of that conversation. I know Dakota Kai has been showing signs of a split between herself and Raquel Gonzalez. So I'd either say Dakota Kai or Frankie Monet. I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. And the one to take the title off of Raquel Gonzalez is going to be
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai.
I'm with it. I'm on it. I'm with it, bro.
The HBK of the duo.
Okay, those other matches in NXT was a good show. Kyle O'Reilly fought Oney Lorcan and Bobby Fish returned, which was cool to see. Well Red dragging it back together.
My Hero was on the show too. Don't forget.
Gargles was doing stuff too. That's cool.
Say that. Wait, huh? Wait, huh? What was that name?
The way.
The Hero, the greatest North American champion in God's green earth, the greatest NXT champion of all time. I'm sorry, Kevin Owens. And of course, the heart and soul and face of NXT.
That's Sami Zayn, bro.
So Gargano defends his title against Bronson Reed next week in a steel cage.
Wait, he's champion right now?
He's a North American champion.
What?
That aside from that, Pete Dunne had a match as well. Don't get me wrong.
He should be the
He
next
defended the cruiserweight title and retained. MSK defended the tag titles against Breezango and they
You're
were
getting booed.
But who?
MSK.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Who's booing them? It's a piping crowd noise.
No, people.
Oh, they have fans there. You're right.
Yeah, fans.
My only last thing I want to talk about is NXT, and I want to move to AEW at the top of the hour. How do you guys feel about Hit Row? Isaiah Swerve Scott, AJ Francis, who I think is like going by Top Dollar.
It gives them
group.
something.
How do you guys feel about it? It's a rip off of Death Row in a way, obviously.
Everything's ripped off in wrestling. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like
Brianna Brandy as the Vibe, Tahuti Miles as the Adonis. They all got new names. They came out in, the blood colors. They looked very Death Row with the outfits. It looked very, if you are familiar with Suge Knight, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dre, like that vibe back then, that's what they look like. That's the vibe they're trying to pick on. How do you guys feel? Pick off of? I don't know if that was right. Mike?
I mean, yeah.
I feel like that this is a great opportunity for Swerve to be in something different. But other than that, I don't see anything going off of this group unless if it elevates, Swerve into a potential secondary title picture. If not, there's really no need unless they're somehow, some way in a magical way going to reunite the Undisputed Era, which at this point, there's no chance in hell that's going to happen right now. So, I mean, it's okay. Isaiah Swerve Scott. I mean, I'm a huge fan of him. Loved what he did.
I like Swerve. AJ's a homie. We've been tight for years. He's been on the TWC show in the early episodes. I don't know much about Tahuti. I don't know much about Brandy. Brandy looks
Rhodes?
great. No, Brandy looks great. Tahuti has a look too, and I haven't really seen him wrestle, so I can't really judge. I might have seen him wrestle. I don't know. Swerve, I've seen wrestle a ton of times. That was the stupidest comment ever, Daniel. Why would you say Brandy Rhodes? Like, how does that even make sense?
It doesn't matter.
You're saying dumb shit to say dumb shit.
Wow.
But I will say this. We've only seen him for 1 week. It's too early to tell, but I do like the fact that Swerve is doing something because ever since he's been on NXT, I felt like he's just been not really used to his fullest potential and not been shown as the star that he could be, and maybe this is the way to do it. So I look forward to see what happens moving forward. I don't want to judge it until we get a few weeks in and we see how it all kind of comes together, but other than that, let's talk about Brandy Rhodes. Let's talk about AEW. It's the guy that. What do you want to talk about when it comes to Brandy Rhodes, Daniel? Please elaborate. It's so intrigued by Brandy Rhodes.
I mean, I think she's a gorgeous woman, and I think
Okay.
I love the Rhodes family. I think Cody should be a champion.
That Cody promo. Let's talk about that Cody promo.
I have different opinions
Cody
about
said
it than you guys, but sure.
I'm going to give you the timeline of how I felt about this promo. So Cody said he had a big announcement. Okay. The guy said the timeline. The guy.
All right, continue.
The guy said he had a big announcement for this week's Dynamite, right?
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, right? Cody Rhodes has a big announcement. It could be hit or miss. Sometimes he has an announcement of something really cool, and then sometimes he has the announcement, and then Jade Cargill walks out. We don't fucking know.
Jade Cargill? Damn.
Okay, so anyways, Cody comes out there, and he cuts. So I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention, if that makes sense. Sure. I was listening, and I was watching but I wasn't really sure what was going on. And with that being said, I thought it was a really good promo. Because as we know, Cody's really good at cutting promos. He knows how to get you invested. He knows what tone to use. He knows how to draw you in. Man, at one point, the man started tearing up when he started talking about his baby. And I was listening, and I get what he was doing. I'm like, oh, he's talking about fighting someone, a foreigner. He's going to wrestle a foreigner, someone that's not from the United States. So he's putting over the United States. You know, the whole America versus a foreigner storyline is very passe anyways, and old school and antiquated. It's not a thing that really exists or shouldn't be still an angle in wrestling. But that's what we're doing. He's fighting the person in the UK because he loves America, and America's a great place where he can have a biracial baby and he can marry a black woman, and Snoop Dogg can be in his theme song with a country singer. That's what he was telling. And I didn't look at it that way at first, but first I was like, okay. And my mind was spinning. I'm like, oh, is he going to challenge Nick Aldis again? Are we going to get, Cody versus Nick Aldis 3? Oh, is he going to, like, Forbidden Door challenge Will Ospreay for Double or Nothing? Like, that would be such a draw. Like, holy shit. Is someone else from Japan going to come here and, like, who's he talking about? I got to UK wrestlers because he started saying the UK, so I was like, okay.
Will Ospreay, maybe.
Will Ospreay or Nick Aldis, like, this is dope. I forgot that he's feuding with this Anthony Ogogo guy.
From Nightmare Factory, yeah.
I forgot. But when he said Anthony Ogogo, I'm like, oh, that sucks. This is a big announcement for some guy who's in a faction with a bunch of Americans. So you're making a foreign feud with a guy from the UK who's in a faction with a bunch of Americans who said absolutely nothing about America. As far as I know, I don't watch Dark or Elevated. Maybe he said something. But he's said nothing about America. Mike, has he said anything about America? Has Anthony Gogo at any point said fuck America? Has he? When did he say fuck America? He's in a group with a bunch of Americans, a part of a Nightmare Factory with those American
flags. Well, I mean, he has claimed, and I quote, with the Britain flag, with the British flag on his shoulder, I hate it here in America. I'm only here for the money.
Oh, that okay. So I didn't know he said that. Hey, you know what you could have done, AEW? Maybe play like a short replay of him saying that on the show that everybody watches every week to let us know that he said that. Because now I was like, what? Is this a corner feud against a guy from the UK? Because the UK is not even like Iran or like India, like China. It's a fucking UK. It's like the most Western country on that side of the pond. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you were westernized, you know? And then, like, and he's in a group. Why is Anthony Gogo saying that? He's in a group with a bunch of Americans.
This is like the modern day La Resistance or some shit.
And then he says this about Anthony Gogo, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer. And then there's a whole promo. This whole fucking promo. Listen, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan. I like Cody Rhodes. He's probably one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. I think he's his matches are the ones I do look forward to the most of the time. And like I was saying, I was putting him over how good his promos are at the beginning of my little rant here. He's so good at it. He knows how to get you invested in shit. That being said, all of this brilliant promo that maybe could have been used for a different feud where it actually made more sense against a different foreigner, just to have the payoff be that you're gonna use your dad's nickname. And I know some marks in the crowd popped for that. Like, yeah, he said American Dream. I'm sitting at home like, that's your announcement, bruh?
It was, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like they're just throwing shit on the wall. They're just like, all right, let's see what we're going to do today, guys. Woo!
And then came the problems that I didn't see at first.
What were the problems, sir?
When I was on Clubhouse with my Clubhouse friends being like, oh, I really like that promo. And they're like, it's because you're not from America. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and be Mr. Liberal or Mr. Far Right or anything like that. I'm a Canadian, but I see it from their perspective. Because like this white man is standing in the middle of the ring talking about how great America is and how great it's been in unionizing white and black people.
Well,
and how great it's been to black people because he's having a biracial baby and all this stuff. And listen, I can't speak on behalf of black people. I'm speaking on behalf of the black people I'm friends with through social media and out the world in real life and stuff as well. They were offended by this promo. I'm not saying that I was fully offended by it because I clearly wasn't, because I thought it was really good at first, but I understand why they were offended by it. Because to them, America hasn't been great to their people. And here's Cody Rhodes in the middle of the ring spewing this propaganda that America's this amazing place for everybody. And they were really offended by this promo. I saw that from one end. And then the second thing I saw was, I'm down with you being the American dream for one night, But man, couldn't this have been for a more important feud? Couldn't this have been for a feud against a guy that's already established, like a Brian Cage or something?
Not even. You could have been against Dustin, even Dustin Rhodes.
Like you're using a dad's name for a feud against a guy named Anthony.
Dustin.
We barely know. Mike might know him. I barely know this Anthony Ogogo guy. They've done nothing that would make me care about him besides he attacked Cody 1 week, and now it's Double or Nothing, the American Dream versus Anthony fucking Ogogo.
Yeah.
But this is huge.
For who?
For a go-go guy.
But no, because see, the thing is, at first glance, because again, you're being introduced to Anthony Ogogo if you don't watch Dark, if you don't watch any of these other programs, I get that. But the man has a story, and if you do watch this other product, and this is again, I've told Justin this, and I think I've told Daniel this, but this is a time when wrestling fans go back and watch stuff. I feel like now more than ever, especially with, things slowly, but surely opening back up, fans are researching now. Fans are going back to these 2019, 2020, 2000, all these past events of these stars that are coming now. I mean, you look at someone like a Powerhouse Hobbs, who's on Team Taz, who's huge, signed with AEW, and then now they're looking back at all this time that he was on Dark, jobbing to people. But see, now you realize that shit, that's Hobbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now's the time, So
Mike,
when you're looking back at this, and maybe
they need to build any more stars. Is there? I'm not saying don't build Anthony Ogogo, he doesn't deserve it, but they have so many stars that they don't even know what to do with it yet. Why you build this could have been Cody versus Will Hobbs. They've already established Will Hobbs as someone. Why not do that? They have Brian Cage, they have Christian Cage, they have all these wrestlers they could use. But now they're like, let's use Anthony Ogogo. And I get it. You want to create new stars. That should be a part of the process. Do it slowly. This man's been on main TV, I think, for 4 months, if anything. And now he's in a match against Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing. I get this is one of Cody's kids from the Nightmare Factory. It's probably
they're wrestling at Double or Nothing. Wow.
Yeah, and it must
That's
be a sentimental fucking reason why. But it pisses me off because it's what is Brian Cage doing? I know Ricky Starks is injured. What is Will Hobbs doing?
I think hear me out. I think the entire shuffle got everything got fucked up when Brody died, right? Because I think Brody he's probably gonna win the title, I'm guessing, and then once he passed, things got reshuffled.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, Cody Rhodes.
But
What the fuck?
But other than that little moment of thinking, I like Cody Rhodes, but I do understand how that was offensive for people. There was memes out there that were hilarious. Cody Rhodes attended, the march to Salem with Martin Luther King. Cody Rhodes, because he kind of used the black culture to put himself over, saying that America's great, to use his dad's nickname. And listen, I think using the American Dream is a really cool thing. I'm not downplaying that. It is fucking cool. But once again, couldn't have been for a bigger reason and a feud that people were really invested in rather than for a feud you're trying to get us invested in with a guy we barely fucking know. And then also to top it off, I'm not gonna say I believe this, but I did read it and I think there is some merit to it.
Believe.
Why does Charlotte Flair get so much flack for doing anything her dad does? And it's she's Ric Flair's daughter, but anytime that Cody is paying tribute to his father's legacy, it's just paying tribute to his father's legacy.
Well,
is it because Ric Flair's alive?
No,
this is my legacy. No, okay,
that's a good song. But it's because she does the woo. She has the fucking
the what?
The woo.
No, I get why, and I'm not. We don't want to go in that debate. Maybe we can say other for next week because there's a whole debate of why people say Charlotte is taking it. Because I say too, if she's gonna wear the robe, have that entrance theme, use a figure 4, and woo, they're gonna compare her to her father. It works when she's a heel, but when she turns a baby,
I disagree with the whole comparison though.
She needs to strip all that shit away if she's gonna be a baby face.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Cody dyes his hair blonde like his father. Cody's the American Nightmare, which is really close to the American Dream. Just because he's not fat like his dad, and his dad is not in a nice fat way because that was part of his dad's presentation, doesn't mean he doesn't try to be like his dad.
Well, I mean, what?
He cuts the promos, the extra inspirational, passionate promos like his dad did.
But I mean, it's
what
like
was
this.
that word?
Passionate.
If your dad could die, if your dad's that big of a legend, of course people are gonna see you as Dusty's kid. Like it's not.
Of course, you see that she's Ric Flair's daughter.
Yeah, but it's just like she kind of like I don't know. It's two different things. I don't think Cody like straight up copied.
Stadium Stampede, Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. They go from blood and guts to a Stadium Stampede. My only issues with this is I don't know if the Stadium Stampede is the kind of match you can do twice, especially without the guys from BTE, because a lot of the jokes in the first one came because we got to know those characters so well because of BTE. Like we knew the characters of the Bucks and Omega and this and that. Not saying that we don't know the Inner Circle guys and we don't know the Pinnacle guys. I want to be able to bite my tongue weeks from now and end up being way better than I expected it to be and be like, you know what? Fuck yeah, that was dope. I want that to be the case. But I do have my concerns. I do have my wherewithals of like, I don't know. Can you do this twice? And will they have the same comedy spots with these two teams? Because like MJF can do funny shit. I'm sure Sean Spears and FTR can and everything too. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be the same. And also, there's supposed to be fans in the crowd for this show. They didn't have fans for last Stadium Stampede. So it made sense for them to run all around the arena and do all this shit and it'd be okay. I don't know. And you made a point the other day, Daniel, about this following Blood and Guts. You remember what that was?
Oh, yeah. Blood and Guts was like a serious match. It was blood, obviously. It was a fucking war. But Stadium Stampede, like, you're going from a serious match to, like, kind of like a comedy.
Yeah.
In a sense, I'm not saying Stadium Stampede is a fucking joke, but
WCW.
Almost sure.
Late WCW, like 2000, you know.
Yeah. Chill, guys. Chill.
Shout out to Viagra on a pole match.
Oh my god.
But no, you got a point because they went from what should have been a blow off of the feud match. The Blood and Guts should have been the blow off, the final match of the feud, to the match that should have came before the Blood and Guts.
Yo, now that I think about it, if this match, like, if the Inner Circle like doesn't win, they split, right? But like, what if they have one more match? It's Jericho and MJF. MJF wins.
Well, I think the Inner Circle can still split, and there still be a singles feud between Jericho and MJF. That's possible.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a stipulation, right? That's what after they hose them down with a little bit of the bubbly. MJF said, "We'll do it, but only if the Inner Circle splits. If you guys lose," which made it make more sense because why would MJF accept that match unless there was a stipulation for his benefit?
So there's purpose behind it. That's cool. Yeah,
that was good. The segment was good. MJF is killer on the mic. I like the Pinnacle group. They're making Sean Spears relevant, so good for them. And Inner Circle's dope, but in a sense, has the Inner Circle run its course? In a sense, yeah. No. I can see Jericho doing his own thing with Jake Hager and as his heavy still as we move forward. And I can see Sammy and LA Proud and Powerful doing their own things too. But I can also see those three in a group together doing their own.
Sammy Guevara will become your new AEW champion. Not probably after Omega, but maybe after that.
Wow.
Yuji Nagata versus Jon Moxley. Great match. Great to see Yuji Nagata. Someone that I was familiar with because when I was a kid watching WCW, he'd pop up all the time. And then when I got older, started watching some Japan stuff, Yuji Nagata was around. So to see him here, it was a special treat. It was cool. It was nice to see Moxley defend that U.S. title again, the New Japan U.S. title again, the IWGP U.S. title again. And, we haven't seen him defend it. So he's defending against Kenta, and, he defended it. Solid match.
Kenta!
Novelty match. Good shit. I enjoyed it. That's pretty much all I can say. And Wild Thing, I don't know if he was just paying homage to Onita or if that's going to be his official theme now. I fuck with it, but I know it's been very controversial.
So I have a quick question for that because I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys yet, but how do you guys feel about AEW purchasing the rights to these certain songs for these certain people? Like, don't you think it feels like at a point where the roster members, like all the roster of AEW, feels like, man, like I should pick my own theme song because like Jungle Boy has what is it? Tarzan Boy. Orange Cassidy has, I think, Pixies. I think it's called something.
Jane by the Pixies.
Yeah, Jane by the Pixies. And then now you have Wild Thing for either Jon Moxley or Eddie Kingston or both. So, like, do you feel like that now they should have a right to just pick their songs and then AEW just buys the rights to that song? Or
it's Jane by Jefferson Starship, not the Pixies. I had to double check that because I thought you were wrong.
Okay.
But I like it for certain wrestlers. I think if there is a theme song that is better suited for a wrestler, then yeah, try to get it for them and make it work. I don't think everyone needs a paid for a theme song. It's a cool concept. I thought that too across my mind. I'm like, well, fuck, if everyone's getting actual songs for the theme song, shouldn't everyone just get actual songs for the theme song then? That'd be fucking pretty cool. But you can't spend that much money. It's probably not a great investment long term. We don't know if this is a one-off with Jon Moxley. I hope not. But if it is, cool. Because I will say this, as much as I like Wild Thing from Moxley and it works for him right now, if Moxley ever gets serious or turns heel or something, like, I don't want him coming out to Wild Thing. Yeah. So, like, it only works for a certain period of time. You know what I mean? So, it depends, right?
She's like, Moxley's burning my light.
right now, Moxley's great using it right now because Moxley's kind of in that little transitional where he's just fucking around having a good time kicking people's asses. Wow thing. And then, it makes sense. But once it comes back to him getting super serious and shit, and when there's a crowd, Wild Thing's one of those songs that if there's a crowd, they're going to sing along.
You make everything.
Well, same thing with Tarzan Boy.
Yeah, exactly. So if it works in that, and the one that Orange Cassidy has is the one that he used in the Independence. But that being said, I kind of liked Orange Cassidy's original theme better, personally.
So then I got to ask you this: since we're seeing a pattern with all these wrestlers getting their relatively OG theme songs, or just a theme song that matches them from certain songs, which wrestler from AEW would you like to see next, and what song would fit them perfectly?
I felt like you were going to ask me that, and I don't know.
Daniel?
What was the question? I zoned out.
So, like, what AEW wrestler would have that right next to get their own theme song? And if they do get that right, what song would fit perfectly for them? Like, for me, I would honestly think that I'd say,
the Varsity Blonde should get like a Motley Crue song or something. I don't know. It was just
I was gonna say what's her name should get a theme song. Britt Baker should get a theme song that she used in the Indies.
Which one?
And I think it was something along the lines of like Hail to the King. I think that was one of them.
Oh, Hail to the King. Yeah, I know that one.
But I'm not too sure. But
I have to see what everyone using Independence, and maybe that would be better suited for them, but I don't know. Like,
wouldn't you rather
have a decision?
But wouldn't you rather use a song that's like recognized by the entire world than have some generic beat with no?
Well, like, what would you? Would you have like Joey Janela coming out to like Bad Boys? What you gonna do?
That'd be cool, but I'm not saying everyone should have a.
Honestly, I'd see Joey Janela come out to something like really crazy, like Mr. Bombastic by Shaggy.
Get the Young Bucks Bop. They use that in the Independence when they're heels doing what they're doing right now because the Young Bucks have been tremendous heels. They're being the heels that killed the Indies prior to AEW. They're not being the VP Young Bucks. They're being the Young Bucks that were pissing everybody off when they were in Independence. They've reverted back to those characters. They're being over the top. They're being arrogant. They're being dicks on social media. They're being up their own asses. They ended Christopher Daniels and Kazarian's tag team of SCU this week in a very good match. We got the old Young Bucks back. Let's make them even more annoying and give them back Bop.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be a good pitch.
You know?
Anything else?
Yeah, there is. Lastly, after the Young Bucks thing, which is dope, watch that match with the Young Bucks versus SCU. Lastly, when it comes to the last thing we're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about the women's division because it's just going to piss me off. The last thing we're going to talk about is the match that is officially booked now for Double or Nothing. It is Kenny Omega defending his AEW World Championship against Pac, aka Pac, because I'm going to call him Pac because, Tupac if you're watching, and Orange Cassidy. I was worried they were going to make it Omega versus Orange Cassidy, which for a match I would love to watch, it would have been great. For a match that was
pay-per-view
believable that Orange Cassidy was going to win, at no point would I thought Orange Cassidy was going to win that match. But now adding Pac in there, at least it makes it more fun. And adds a little bit of what if Pac makes Orange Cassidy tap out? What if Pac makes Omega tap out? He's done that before. Or pass out. There's that extra wild card in there. Obviously Omega's gonna walk out champion still, but still, I like it being a triple threat rather than a singles match.
Omega will do what Roman Reigns did at WrestleMania this year, and he will pin both men at the very same time.
I don't think Pac would allow that. I think it was Orange Cassidy and anybody else. Omega would do that purposely to mock what WWE did because AEW likes to do shit like that, but I don't think Pac would allow that to happen.
Why don't you think he would do that?
Because Pac's a little bit of a dick, and when he doesn't want to do something, he's not going to do it.
He'll walk out on a company in WWE in 2017.
You don't fuck with Pac. or Pac, whatever.
Well, I mean, you know, he's a man.
And it's not that he doesn't want to be fucked with. He'll job and he'll do things, but he's very cautious of how his character is.
That's smart, though. Good on him for that.
And he's vocal about it. Like, I don't want
Yeah, of
that
course.
to be, you know what I mean? And it was okay for guys like Edge and Bryan to do it because they're fucking Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
Let Pac win a couple of world titles and we can talk about it. You know, like, you know.
And with this said, thank you guys so much for tuning into the TWC show.
Mike's trying to run off because he's such a busy guy. There's no time for any of us, and he needs to leave. But we are running overtime. We're almost an hour and 30 minutes. Both weeks' episodes have almost gone this long. A lot to talk about right now. It's, as much as I thought wrestling would be pretty boring, it's been pretty eventful during these months. But yeah, this is the end of the TWC show, guys. Please subscribe. Please, if you haven't yet, check out the Patreon. You can join for as low as $2. Follow the YouTube channel, The Wrestling Classic. Check out my interview with Daniel Monet, interview with Jimmy Jacobs coming soon. Make sure you follow SockMonkeyMike on YouTube. Search Your Story up wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Mike's podcast. He's interviewed a ton of wrestlers.
And Justin's the producer, by the way.
He's interviewed a ton of wrestlers in the past that you guys might know because they've popped up on AEW Dark or in NXT or at other places on the independents. And a lot of cool influencers and Instagram models and producers and directors and things in different fields. Mike has interviewed them, so definitely go support him and check that out. Go support the Dropkick Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts on YouTube. Check out Dropkick Pod on Instagram.
The Shawn Michaels of podcasts.
Oh, look at that.
He's a ton of great interviews he's done. I've been on a handful of them now. I interviewed Rob Van Dam with him. I think that was the only one, actually. There might be another one. I don't remember.
Jimmy Jacobs.
No, we did that for the casual conversations, though.
Oh, okay, true.
So
By the way,
When's my time, Daniel?
Soon.
I've co-hosted with everybody. I co-hosted with Daniel. We did Jimmy Jacobs and Joe Santagato together. I've co-hosted with Mike when we interviewed Ethan Page, which was another one you guys really supported and checked out. So thank you guys. But yeah, guys, support all of us. Check out our stuff and our ads and everything and the information down below. And keep doing the thing. We'll see you next week. Hopefully next week I can get it back down to under an hour. I apologize. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Rest in peace to Mike's dog. Rest in peace to Mike's dog. Rest in peace to you, Jeff. Rest in peace to you, Jeff.